Okay, Bob Williams called me and he was very upset about the new temple where the Catholic Church used to be in West Elmira. And apparently they had a big celebration yesterday. They had the roads blocked off and the police were there escorting people across, and of course they dressed Hindu. And I have a couple of thoughts, and I just want to give you these thoughts. Number one, they have a right to do what they want. And the Catholic Church offered that building for sale for a long time, and nobody took it. And they're the only ones that took it. So if somebody didn't want it to be that temple, they should have bought the building.
What is their religion about?
A Hindu type religion. I don't know exactly all the ins and outs. I want to talk just a little bit about that. The Mother Teresa, you all remember Mother Teresa?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. When she started out, she did, a lot of people don't know that, but she did everything she did for the glory of Jesus. That was her whole goal and purpose, for the glory of Jesus. A lot of people don't realize that was her purpose. But when she got to India, she was just one nun by herself, I think, went in a room trying to figure out what God wanted her to do. And so she got busy with one of the most urgent needs. Does anybody know what the most urgent need was?
Food.
What?
Food.
Oh no. More important than that.
The sick and the poor.
More important than that.
The sick and the poor.
What?
The sick and the poor.
Getting closer. What it was, India has a caste system.
Right.
Hindu have a caste system. This temple, they're following some of the things, so I don't know exactly how they'll develop a caste system in the United States. But in Hindu, the lowest caste, the highest caste system is a Burma. Burma cow, the bull, the cow,
Right.
Burma, that's the top. And the lowest ones are called the untouchables. And you're not supposed to ever touch an untouchable. If you touch an untouchable, I guess you have to go through some type of cleanser or whatever. And you get dark credits in the next world. So the untouchables would die. They'd be on the street and they'd die. What would they do with the body?
Leave them there?
You got it. That's why.
I bet you
Mother
the
Teresa
street
did what she
stunk.
did. These untouchables, nobody, no police wouldn't pick them up. What? What?
Oh, I bet you those
They would
streets stunk
just
to
leave
high
them
heaven.
on the bodies, on the streets or wherever they were, and they would rot, decay, and it was a very disease type situation. The government was not happy about it, but they didn't know what to do because they didn't want to touch them. Because they were Hindu and you're not allowed to touch them. So Mother Teresa's first job was to go bury all the untouchables. And the government loved them her for that. Because nobody
She did it
would do
all.
it.
She did it herself too, all by herself. Wow.
And within time, people started helping her, and then she went with the trying to save children from death, and so that was more her bigger thing at the end. But at the beginning, it was just basically trying to bury the untouchables, because that's a disease problem. You don't want to be around a rotten body out in the open. And so she would not do that. You know, with Gandhi, I always thought of Hindus as being very peaceful people. But there's a dimension there that's not always peaceful.
Right.
And a lot
Gandhi
of
was just one
Christians-
person.
are under attack in Hindu, even people that have been Christians for a long time. They oftentimes are under attack. And nothing good is going to come out of this temple, but they have every right to be there.
But that's a Hindu temple over there?
What?
That's a Hindu temple?
Yes. Where St. Mary's, what was it, St. Mary, not St.
Our
Mary's?
Lady of Lords.
Lady of Lords, yes.
You heard that, Mom?
Okay, you got your
Yeah.
song?
Lady of Lords.
All right, you got your song here, sheet here. I'm gonna go over this. Sandhu Sundar Singh. Sandhu Sundar are titles, like Reverend, Pastor. Some people use the word Father. Sandhu Sundar is titles from India. It is not a particular religious belief. Sandhu Sundar Singh, I'm going to just go through it. At the top there it says, a young Mr. Singh accepts Jesus as his Savior. He was from one of the higher caste, and his family was paid for his education. And so he was being educated, which is a big deal. It's a
Right.
very big deal. And so the young Mr. Singh accepts Jesus as his Savior.
I had
Is that a
decided to follow
problem?
Jesus.
Big problem over there.
Yeah, it sure is. Then the second verse is Mr. Singh is rejected by his family and poisoned by
His brother.
his brother. Can you think of that? They loved him, and so they poisoned him. And the doctor said he was amazed how that he survived. But he survived that. And he goes out there and he tries to get a job. And he fails at every job he gets. He really does. Nothing works out. And he decides to, the guy that told him, he said, you can't sell anything because you're too honest. And so he said, why don't you become a Sandhu? And so that's what he did. He rejected mere material things in hope of a wife. Because how could he get a wife? His father wouldn't pay for one. You're not going to go out to a young educated woman and say, hey, can we get married? No whole way. You're an outcast. Your family's rejected you. I'm not going to marry you.
Got
And on top of that, you got to pay my dad off first. For real. I'm talking the dowry had to be put there, money in the hand first. None of you women want to say much about that. And then Sadhu Sundar Singh, he walks over India sharing Jesus. After that, he was failing at being a salesman because he couldn't lie about things. And then he couldn't go back to school. He's not going to be able to afford a decent wife because, there's not any educated wife that he could get. And so he becomes this Sandhu, and so he just starts, what you have to do to become a Sandhu is you have to walk all over India. One of the holy things to do is to walk. And so the Sandhu Sundar Singh, the way he got his title, he walked all over India. And he would live a lot of the time just off of what he could get out of the jungle. And he would live with the animals. And and he would just go all over India. And he became known as the apostle of the bleeding feet. Why?
Shoes wore out.
He didn't have shoes.
They
He
had
was a
shoes wore
Sundar.
out, that's why.
No, because the Sundar doesn't wear shoes.
Oh.
Well, I take that back. Yes, his shoes wore out, but he never bought a replacement.
Right, yeah.
But when he went to Europe, he did wear European clothes for that short period he went to Europe. But he was the apostle of the bleeding feet. He was walking barefooted all over India. And he even walked barefoot in Tibet in the snow. And they said that he would leave blood stains where he walked in the snow. And they caught him in Tibet, put him in the dungeon, and the angel came and released him. He said, how you got out? And he said, the angel came and released me. He said, I'm going to let you go, but if you come back, we'll kill you. And so he stayed away from Tibet. And he always wanted to go back to Tibet to share the love of Jesus, because they didn't know about Jesus. And so he went back to Tibet in 1929. When did he die?
You don't know.
Everybody knows.
Nobody knows.
Don't
Disappeared.
know. What's that?
He disappeared.
Yeah, well, some people believe he's still alive.
I'm not sure about
What?
that.
No, he just walked into Tibet. Nobody knows what happened. 1929. Okay, so let's sing this. This, I think, is Derek's favorite song, isn't it?
I mean, I like it, yeah.
What?
I like it, yeah.
Oh, you used to like it a lot.
I did.
Okay, anyway, we're going to sing it. Ready?
Hi.
Maybe, Desiree, can you...
Am I recording this? Am I still recording, by the way?
Help me lead this?
Am I still recording, by the way?
Yes.
Okay.
We want the song on here.
Gotcha.
That's the whole thing. We want the song. I should have had y'all get up here first.
There you get there.
And then you can sing another one later. All right, y'all ready? Got your paper? I've decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. Though I may wander, I still will follow. Though I may wander, I still will follow. Though I may wander, I still will follow. No turning back, no turning back. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind me, the cross before me. No turning back, no turning back. Though none go with me, still I will follow. Though none go with me, still I will follow. Though none go with me, still I will follow. No turning back, no turning back. Will you decide now to follow Jesus? Oh, will you decide now to follow Jesus? Will you decide now to follow Jesus? No turning back, no turning back. Boy, we haven't sung that in a while. Very good.
Thank you.
Better job. I almost got us all timing though. Y'all turn it off, yeah.
Okay.